Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Today, we discuss a 2000 evolution of the Patek Philippe 5270 Perpetual Calendar Chronograph. This is the 5270 1R-001, the debut of the watch in full rose gold, full bracelet. Now you can see it's a large timepiece at 41 millimeters in diameter, 12.9 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip. If we're just talking about the lugs in the case, it's 49.5 millimeters. If we add these end links, then the total distance across the wrist side to side is 52.5 millimeters. We have a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We will throw this watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see that the watch is large and it does take up quite a bit of area, so I would not recommend this watch on the bracelet for a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference, so just slightly smaller than mine. That's the lower limit. You can see particularly across the top that the watch is out to the edge of my wrist, and while it's not thick and it will slip underneath most cuffs, it is quite broad. This down the barrel shot is always the definitive one. Bracelets are a great way to wear a watch if you live in hotter climates. Inevitably, a leather strap will degrade, it'll become slimy and cruddy and absorb the heat, sweat, oil, and moisture from the wrist. That's not a problem with the bracelet. Not only is it not susceptible to moisture, but it's also quite well ventilated with the gaps between the links, allowing the wrist to breathe quite well. The bracelet is a lovely 5-link design. Every surface is polished. You can see removable links are fixed by pins and sleeves. Patek has its reason for that. It's that you can't strand a pin sleeve, whereas with a flathead screw, you can strip it out and strand it in the link. This does require a block or a punch to size, but you cannot strip out the pins and sleeves. Now you can see we have a double folding clasp here, that the inside of the chassis is curved to match the underside of the wrist, that we have these little ceramic pin snaps in there, so over time, the clamshell can't aggress against the pin snap and wear it down. That's why that material is used right there. The case, surprisingly nuanced. There are fluting and stepped patterns on the flanks of the lugs. They are broken out from the case band rather dramatically. The bezel is stepped inward to visually reduce the mass, and then you see it as a conical portion. There's a little step at its base and where it abuts the flange of the crystal. And then we have rectangular, vintage-inspired chronograph pushers, the Calatrava Cross. It is the logo of the company. You will find it in several places on the watch. The dial, black with rose gold hands and indices. You could see that the chronograph hands, the seconds and the minutes, those are sort of matte rose gold, so they have a different finish even if they're made of the same material. Leaf hands for the hours and minutes. You could see we have the day, the date, the month, the moon phase, perpetual calendar, so there's no need to reset this watch during jumps from irregular length months or during leap years. It can handle that by itself. There's a little AM/PM indicator right here down at the roughly 7 o'clock station on the dial. Now you can see as the day grows short and the nighttime hours approach, the little aperture turns blue. When it's blue, you don't want to use the pusher adjusters for the calendar system to make corrections. That's why that's there. It's a danger zone indicator. Now over here, we have at approximately, let's call that 4:35, we have this little 3 that is your leap year phase indicator. And then we have the chronograph, which uses a combination of a lateral clutch and a column wheel. And the column wheel feel is exemplary. Now we also have a hacking or stop seconds function. This is a modern in-house Patek caliber, so it has that capability. And we have black discs for the day and the month. There's a tachymeter outboard. You can see base 1000. That, in conjunction with the chronograph, can be used to gauge the speed of something such as a race car or an aircraft around a course. So if you start when the aircraft starts the kilometer and you stop when the aircraft finishes the kilometer, you can see that aircraft was going 400 kilometers per hour. That's how that works. Flip it all over. Manufacturer caliber 29-535. PSQ, so Petit Second, and Q for Quantième for the Perpetual calendar. All this 30 meters, water resistant, manual wind, 65-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate, overcoil hairspring, free-sprung Gyromax style regulator. We have a combination of a black polished and capped column wheel with a lateral clutch, 6-position adjustment, instantaneous jumping minutes, 33 pivot jewels, all of it quite beautifully finished and guaranteed to run from the factory no worse than -3 plus 2 seconds per 24 hours. It is a gorgeous mass of textures, tones, colors, and different metals. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.